So recently, I started playing Xenoverse 2. And yeah, no, I'm really late to the party on this one. Who gives a shit? It's like a year old. Everyone's talking about fighters. Fighters is a new thing. But look, yeah, I just now got around to really spending some time with Xenoverse 2 because the beginning of Xenoverse 2, the first few hours, is padded with horrible goddamn tutorials and tedious fucking enemy fights. But I'm not here to bitch about that. That's going to be a completely separate video. Now, I'm here to talk about something that happened while playing this game that I haven't heard anyone bring up. And that is how this series, or how this game's story tries to weave itself into the main continuity of Dragon Ball, and yet still incorporate things from GT in the movies and still make itself make sense, which shouldn't be a thing that's possible. After I got through all the bullshit tutorials and tedious fucking enemy fights before the game actually let me have fucking fun and actually introduced me to the fucking story, after I got past all of that, the Kaioshin of Time brings up Tullus and Lord Slug and how they're causing problems, and she throws out a specific little line that caught my attention, which was that in different histories they were defeated by Goku, and now they are back thanks to Toa. And I was just like, huh, that's a weird way of phrasing that, different histories, and I didn't quite understand what that meant. Because in Xenoverse 1, you know, you have Broly rolling around in that fucking game. You have the GT storylines as DLC. And, you know, they kind of, like, brush off, like, the GT stuff as, like, you know, like, Trunks has, like, this throwaway line about, like, in this timeline, the Tuffle baby, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I guess we're just not going to acknowledge or even try to make this fit into the continuity. Whatever, it's a video game. I can let it slide. I'm not that uppity about it. You know, I'm here to have fun. But here, in this game, they actually kind of retroactively go back and add in a plot point that makes all of this make sense. And that is the bird Toki Toki. It lays an egg, and the bird that hatches out creates a history. An entire timeline that is its own separate path, and for every one of these birds that exist, there is a different history. And that was a really fascinating thing. So that kind of opens up the Dragon Ball mythos a bit more, if you want to, you know, count this as part of the grander Dragon Ball narrative, in that for each one of these birds that exist, there's a history. I'm assuming Toki Toki is the main history that we have, the one that we have been following in Dragon Ball. So you have, like, a history, and then within the history we have a timeline, and a timeline can be fractured by time travel. And then for, you know, like what Trunks does, and then for each fractured timeline, there is its own, it has its own 12 universes and a Xeno. Okay, so that was a really neat point that they introduce, and by doing this whole histories thing, by adding this new layer to the narrative, it now allows something like the Dragon Ball Z movies, and, you know, technically even the Dragon Ball movies, and fucking, you know, GT, and maybe even fucking Evolution, whatever you want. Like, it allows all of these things to fit into the grander Dragon Ball multiverse. Because it's no longer just limited by, like, the 12 universes and these split timelines. Now it's, oh, now there are histories. And within these histories, they can be similar, but different. And it reminds me a lot of, Turtles Forever, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 25th anniversary movie, where they were like, oh yeah, there's like a multiverse, and like each multiverse, there's a different Ninja Turtle series that takes place within it, like including like the anime, the live action movies, the comics, the other comics, the fucking all the goddamn cartoons. You know, it allowed all of those to exist and all be connected, even though they're all still separate. And here, Xenoverse has kind of taken that idea and made that possible with this whole little, sidestepping the issue and just going, oh yeah, no, it's different histories, and I can't express how much I goddamn appreciate that, because they didn't have to. It was a video game. They could have just been like, whatever, and shut the fuck up. It's fucking cool. It's movie villains and shit. And I would have been like, alright, fine, whatever, it's movie villains and shit. And I would have shut the fuck up because it's a video game and I don't have to really take it seriously. But here, the writers of this game have gone the extra mile to give it a little bit of credibility, to give its narrative some credibility. And as cool as that is, and as much as I appreciate it, it only kind of reinforces my agitation with Super. See, it's all about coming right back around to Super, where I'm gonna just fucking use Super as a negative example. So, Super can't even be bothered really to explain anything. Like, why has Goku never used Super Saiyan God up until the Tournament of Power? What is Super Saiyan Blue, and why have they not used, and how does it work? What the fuck is Super Saiyan Rage, and why is Trunks able to do it and, not Gohan? Because Gohan's the Rage guy. Why can't Gohan be a Super Saiyan Rage? All the weird shit that was timey-wimey and wibbly-wobbly with fucking Goku Black, and how none of that shit made sense. There's a lot of things that just Super just kind of glosses over. It just kind of, here's this idea. Oh, well, how does that work? Isn't it cool, though? And I'm like, I mean, kinda? Superficially so? Can you explain any of that? Nah, that ain't me. I'm like, alright. Thanks, Super. But here, a goddamn video game, like I said, where its narrative is just complete fanfiction-y nonsense for the sake of gameplay. I really have to say I have an appreciation for Xenoverse's story, because it actually has a story that makes sense within the context of the greater Dragon Ball universe. Because not even outside of the history thing, even the parallel quest, even little the side missions have an in-continuity reason in the game world for existing. That whenever people fuck with time, with specifically the time breakers go back and they fuck with time, it creates these weird kind of ripples in time and creates these weird fractured splinterings of timelines, and that's cool. I think that's really neat. I don't know if they're splintered timelines or maybe even full fucking splintered histories. Who even knows? But the mere fact that exists, I think is really neat. And the fact that they went that extra mile to try and tie everything back into the core narrative, have the kind of the gimmick of the game also makes sense within the context of the narrative. Like I said, it's a little extra thing that they didn't have to do, but they actually went that extra mile to just do it. Where Dragon Ball Super is a series that is the official continuation of Dragon Ball, as brought to you by your Grandmaster Akira Toriyama. And it can't be bothered to explain a goddamn thing. And that's even with the manga, where Toyotaro is clearly a fan, and he's trying to, make Toriyama's bullshit make sense. It still ends up kind of falling flat a lot, and it's just kind of well, I mean, that was an explanation, but it's a really dumb explanation. So yeah, like I said, it was so simple. It like I said, within a single sentence, it completely unified the entire Dragon Ball, all of Dragon Ball in existence. All the game narratives and all the fucking anime narratives and everything. Everything that is Dragon Ball. Even the Super anime and how the Super manga is different from the Super anime. Just how it brings all of those things together and goes, yeah, no, it's all canon. It all fits. It's all one thing. I mean, they're all separate things, but they're all connected. That's pretty neat. So yeah. Xenoverse 2, man. You tried. And I appreciate it. A lot of people think that I just hate anything modern Dragon Ball. And no. I just want a product that tries. And Xenoverse 2, man. You tried. I appreciate it.